Hello, and welcome back to another episode of 10-Minute Concert Insights, Schubert Club's new online version of the traditional pre-concert talk. My name is Mark Bilyeu, and I'm pleased to join you for the next installment in this season's International Artist Series, welcoming Emmanuel Pahud and Alessio Bax. Their program features a German first half and a French second, with an intermission between. You can choose if you'd like the Kaffee und Kuchen option or the champagne and cheese as your intermission treat. First up on the program is a transcription of a Mozart violin sonata, and the only instrumental work by Mozart in the key of E minor. How's that for trivia? Mozart was 22 when he wrote this two-movement sonata, just off a grueling tour organized by his father, which was meant to secure a fancy position, but which only put the family further into debt. He began writing the work while in Mannheim, which was famous for its court orchestra, often referred to as an orchestra of generals, and the musical devices the leaders of that orchestra created. Perhaps you're aware of the Mannheim roller, the orchestral technique in which a full orchestral crescendo is achieved with an ascending melodic line over a static bass line. It's also the namesake for the highly synthesized classical rock band that infiltrated my childhood and whose Christmas recordings follow us everywhere as we do our holiday shopping, Mannheim's Steamroller. Now, Mannheim was also responsible for a thing called the Mannheim Rocket, which is a melodic line that ascends, like a rocket, in short order. It's hard to look at the opening of this Mozart sonata and not see how he was influenced by his time in Mannheim. Clara Schumann's romances were originally conceived for the violin as well. They were gifts for her longtime friend and collaborator, Joseph Joachim, and they work beautifully here in a transcription by Emmanuel Pahud himself. If you are looking to whet your appetite for this upcoming recital, have a listen to these three on Pahud's 2023 album, Romances. They are some of the last things Clara Schumann would compose. Her performing career was far more lucrative, and she had an entire family to support. Joseph Joachim and Clara Schumann performed these pieces together countless times throughout their careers, most famously for King George V of Hanover, who was completely ecstatic about them. Now, the second half, the French half, includes the newest work on the program, the Sonata No. 3 for flute and piano by Nicolas Bacri. Bacri currently teaches at the Conservatoire Rayonnement Régional de Paris and has a catalog of over 100 works. His influence on French music has been likened to Olivier Messiaen and Henri Dutilleux, who he dedicated the second movement of this particular sonata to. As a young composer, he explored a highly polyphonic atonalism, which caught the attention of Elliott Carter, who believed Bacri to be one of the most promising young French avant-garde composers. As his career developed, however, he took on a more conservative style, saying, "My music is not neoclassical. It is classical, for it retains the timeless aspect of classicism, the rigor of expression. My music is not neo-romantic, it is romantic, for it retains the timeless aspect of romanticism, that is, the density of expression. My music is modern, for it retains the timeless aspect of modernism, the broadening of the field of expression. And my music is postmodern, for it retains the timeless aspect of postmodernism, the mixture of techniques of expression." The capstone work for this program is César Franck's Sonata. Composed in 1886, Franck gave it as a wedding gift to violinist Eugène Ysaÿe and his wife, Louise Boudreau de Courtailles. Franck himself couldn't be there for the ceremony, so he asked their friend Charles Borde, also a composer, to deliver the gift on the morning of their wedding. After a hurried rehearsal, Ysaÿe and Leontine Borde-Pen, a wedding guest and sister-in-law to Charles Borde, offered the first performance of the work for the wedding guests. The work was a near immediate success, and Franck's publishers knew they had a hit on their hands. Here, we see an early copy which lists just a few iterations of the work. a version for solo piano, a version for piano duet, 4 hands, a version for piano and flute, and a version for piano and viola. Now we have even more transcriptions of the work for double bass, for oboe, for clarinet, alto saxophone, tuba, violin and strings, violin and full orchestra, and my personal favorite, organ with choir. Now, I have to say, not every one of these transcriptions is amazing, but it is a testament to Franck's incredible melodies, so singable and so compelling that instrumentalists can't help but strive to showcase the same vocalism as Ysaÿe's violin. Notice how the work is listed as a sonata for piano and violin. This seemingly insignificant word order isn't as insignificant as we might think. First off, the piano writing is notoriously fiendish. There is virtuosic passage work, large leaps, and even larger intervals, all achievable by Franck's very large hands. We're talking Rachmaninoff size, but unrealistic for many pianists. As scholars have also pointed out, the manuscript appears to show that Franck composed the piano part first, with very few erasure marks or corrections, whereas the violin part is riddled with changes that indicate a lack of assuredness to the violin writing. The ordering of piano and violin is also an homage to Beethoven's series of instrumental sonatas, which also present the piano as the headliner. Now, the 4-movement sonata here shares motivic themes throughout, at times dreamy and hazy, other times volatile and passionate. One of the most beautiful moments in all of our inherited canon, in my humble opinion, is the opening of the 4th movement, as it emerges from the 3rd movement's fantasia. It reminds me of those first rays of light in the morning with a cup of coffee as they slowly appear and transition into the fullness of daylight. At the first public performance, about 6 months after Ysaÿe's wedding, light was critical. It was the final work on a program given by Ysaÿe and, again, Leontine Bourdpen at the Museum of Modern Painting in Brussels. The concert began at 3 in the afternoon and was so long that the sun began to set as the Franck sonata began. Composer Vincent d'Indy was there and recounted. It was already growing dark as the sonata began. After the first allegretto, the players could hardly read their music. Unfortunately, museum regulations forbade any artificial light whatever in rooms containing paintings. The mere striking of a match would have been an offense. The audience was about to be asked to leave, but, brimful with enthusiasm, they refused to budge. At this point, Ysaÿe struck his music stand with his bow, demanding, "Let's go on." Then, wonder of wonders, amid darkness that now rendered them virtually invisible, the 2 artists played the last 3 movements from memory with a fire and passion the more astonishing in that there was a total lack of usual visible externals that enhance a concert performance. Music, wondrous and alone, held sovereign sway in the blackened of night. The miracle will never be forgotten by those present. Luckily, there are no such lighting regulations here at the Ordway, and we will be able to experience this music, wondrous, offered by Emmanuel Pahud and Alessio Bax, unhindered. Though you're welcome to simply close your eyes and let the music wash over you. Thanks again for joining us for another 10-minute Concert Insights. We'll see you here next time at the Schubert Club.